Hey everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of the OverMark Podcast. It's me, and I'm TJ, as you probably have seen before. If not, now you're introduced. We're friends now, but we got my buddy here, Dave, and we're gonna talk about him for a second. So sit tight, because the man next to me feels like he's been through a couple tables in his time, and it might show in his back a little bit. He's a little scuffed, but still dangerous. He keeps telling me not to say that word in here again, so for the love of God, I will not say it. He also firmly believes that Domino's is an undercover front designed to keep our asses under the government's control. So don't ask him about pizza, or you're going to start a very weird conspiracy podcast. If you were thinking about insulting the OverMark brand, don't, because he will legitimately punch you in the face. And if we're thinking about touching him, well, don't do it. He might be cranky if you do that, and he might be a little bit bruised, but he's the only guy I'd trust with my last chicken quesadilla, and that, my friends, is Dave, one half of the OverMark Podcast co-host.
Jeez.
Yeah, they really liked you today, man.
Huh? Well, that was a stellar intro. I think they liked your intro more than they liked me.
I don't know about that, man. We'll have to put up a Twitter poll and then make that a fact based off one vote. But yeah, what's going on with you today?
Well, it's Friday, and we're here in our podcast dungeons doing the dang old thing. It's thank God it's Friday. TGIF, like they used to say when we were kids.
Yeah, I think that can mean a couple different things these days, depending on who you might ask. But
oh no, it means other things.
I read something about it might being something that I don't think any of us would like. But I am glad that it was Friday, though. It was kind of a weird day at work. Like, it was just like me and this other guy I work with, and we just kind of goofed around because everybody was gone. So it really wasn't that too bad. But
didn't accomplish much. Yeah.
Oh no, not at all. And he didn't do the best job. Let's just say that he fucked up the first thing he did a couple times. No. Yeah, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, you're doing it. I'm sure you've been taught for multiple years not to, but we're gonna move on to something else that we maybe have all been taught to watch or not. That's gonna be Raw from September 22nd, 2025, and Dynamite from September 24th, 2025. I think it would make sense that it's 2025 for all of us, because that may be the year in which we're born. The last time I checked, but I'm just...
Wait, we were all born this year?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
See, I'm off
cool.
I'm off to some kind of start today. And then we got the news.
Oh.
We got the news after that. So if you were born today, follow our socials at OverMark ENT, because there's a good chance that you haven't done it yet. And if you haven't done it, what the fuck are you doing? It's right there. It's not going to hurt you. It's just going to bring you in some of the OverMark entertainment lifestyle that you've been, you don't know this at all, but you've been craving for it. You need it. And if you don't have it, there's going to be a void in your life that you're never going to be able to fill with anything else but OverMark. So, yeah. I just wanted to let them know that. I mean, I know you know it. You're just not preaching it all the time.
I know that I know it.
Yeah. And then now they know that we know. But we're going to go ahead and move on, and we can talk about... I'll start us off this week, or on this episode here. Since we do 2 a week. This is not our first this week. So, anyways, or is
our
it?
First ever?
Yeah. Since we were born today, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, it's what we were talking about earlier. It's WWE Raw, September 22nd, 2025. They distributed 6,407 tickets, and they had a setup for like 7,000 something. So they had about 700 left, and it was at the Ford Center in Evansville, Indiana again, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I messed that up last week. So we're gonna go through this one real quick because I'm sure that a lot of people watching this show, it went pretty quick for them because they probably went to sleep, I'd imagine.
Yep.
But
or they watched it on fast forward.
Had the Cody and Seth promo. I like this. It felt like a big deal, and it felt kind of like the older big deal promos that we would have back and forth between top guys. So I liked it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this too. It kind of gave me like a Brett Shawn type of vibes. Obviously, these guys aren't Brett and Shawn, but they're their own guys. But in terms of how it feels like a big deal of two guys, like these guys are, even if you don't think that they're at that level, they're presented to be top guys at the level of what Brett and Shawn would be. So I mean, this is a big a deal in the modern era as you could probably get.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely is. And we'll move on to something that's probably not a very big deal, and that was Penta and the War Raiders defeating the New Day and Grayson Waller. What is like Penta teaming with the War Raiders permanently now? It seems like this is happening a lot, and I feel like you probably better not to do that.
Yeah, the Avalanche Mexican Destroyer was cool.
So like this crowd wasn't ready for that.
No,
they were like when they saw it, and it's funny because like we were telling the guys in the Discord over the week that if that happened in an AEW ring, well, they would have kicked out at probably 2 and then went on for 15 more minutes.
Yep. They would have instantly no-sold it and been back up doing like 5 other moves before you could even register that just happened.
Yeah, that's true. And who knows what's the right way? I think somewhere in the middle, right?
Yep.
But then we have Bayley defeating Roxanne Perez, which this got very close to me losing my fight and being defeated by boredom and being tired.
I'm gonna chalk this up to chemistry. I think this is the first time these two girls have worked together, and we know that both of them are capable of having a better match than what we saw here.
I don't know. I'm just not feeling the Bayley stuff. It's like they're sitting here and the commentators are sitting here talking about Bayley, but it's weird the way that they're doing it because it's like they're not doing it in a sports-based presentation. They're doing it like narrators, like there's some kind of fucking movie like guy talking about them, like they know what she's saying and stuff. It's like they know her inner monologue, and it's like I just thought that was kind of questionable because they definitely don't, and they don't know what's going on. And I can guarantee you that Jim Ross wouldn't be saying the things that they were saying. He would be confused.
I don't remember hearing that. I obviously must not have been paying very much attention. I'll have to listen a little better next time. I didn't realize they were doing that. That is fairly goofy. You are right.
But yeah, anyways, then we have, I know something you're not crazy about, which was Rusev defeating JD McDonagh. I will give it this. It looked like he beat the crap out of the guy.
I mean, it definitely looks like, what it looked like. I'm not crazy about Rusev. His they've been largely unimpressive since he's been back.
Yeah, they're trying to build a monster, so I guess if they're trying to do that, I don't know what to tell you. I guess just keep going. But then we got Jey Uso defeating LA Knight. This was an okay match, but I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the conflicted Jey.
Yeah, fairly mundane angle with the two of them. I don't know. I'm not really feeling it all that much. I don't really I don't care. It feels stupid that these two guys are feuding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so too. But hopefully it doesn't last forever and they figure it out. And we're gonna move on to the main event here, which is Rhea Ripley defeating Asuka. Which this is definitely the highlight of the night. I think. At least when you want to talk about the in-ring stuff, because they had a really good match. This feels like it's a program that's somewhat of a main event caliber, which you can't say that for a lot of the programs on the show. And I don't know. I don't really have anything negative to say about this. They sold this whole thing really well, especially the aftermatch stuff.
Yeah, the heel turn stuff, like it was galvanized at the end there. It was a nice touch. And even Kyrie,
Conflicted.
yep, she was reluctant, but then did it anyway.
Well, she was still upset.
Yep.
Well,
that'll be some kind of thing that they can do later on with the two of them after they finish up with this.
Well, speaking of I guess not being upset, we're going to talk about the high points. Mine was the match that we just talked about with Rhea and Asuka. No need to kind of double dribble there. Just it was a good match, and everybody did their parts very well. This is and they built to the main event during the whole show. So I just like the whole way they handled it.
Yep, that actually made the show better.
Yeah, it did.
Elsewise, it would have got a much lower score than what it ended up getting. My high point was the Cody Seth promo. Had that big fight feel. This is going to be presented as a big deal. They make it feel like a big deal. They don't always come across doing that, and then they managed to do that here.
I agree. And we're going to go to the low points. So, this is what Dave and I did not like. And mine was Bayley versus Perez. And it's mainly because I feel like at one point they were kind of like leaning Perez in a direction with like the whole Dom thing, to where when Liv came back, there was going to be some friction there. But it seems like they haven't really gone any further with that angle. And she did have the belts, and now it just kind of seems like she's kind of like just there. But maybe they'll do something with her eventually. And I'm just not into Bayley, so there wasn't much here that I could point out that was a positive for me.
Yeah, they've definitely cooled Roxanne a bit. Yeah, maybe there's some kind of plan in the works. Who knows? My low point was the Rusev versus JD. Like I said, Rusev's return has been largely lackluster. It's maybe no fault of his own, maybe completely whose fault. I have no idea. I don't work there, but And JD's got a big old head.
Yeah, well, he got him in that accolade or whatever. Is that what they're still calling it? Like, pretty well.
Not sure. Maybe we'll see old Rusev back in AEW or something.
I'd highly
Probably
doubt
TNA.
it. Nah, he's not going back there. Rusev's gonna hang out. He's buddies with all these guys, and it's where he wants to be. And he held out and didn't give in to Tony's crap, at least in his opinion. So because all the rumors were that he didn't want to do any of the stuff that they had for him there. But that's a conversation for another time. I gave this show 8.
Yeah, we should look into that.
We will.
Anyway, go ahead.
I gave this show a 3.
I also gave it a 3. I was pretty low on it. If it wasn't for the main event, it might have got like a 1.5 or a 2. I just
Well, the main event, even though it has people that we like and we want to see, it feels somewhat stale for the men and the women. I think the women actually have a way higher interest level for me right now. But the mid card is just dead right now. They don't have anybody really doing anything. And it's just kind of strange.
Yeah. Man, it feels so late right now.
Yeah, it's not.
Nope, not at all. Anyhow, that's it for old Raw, and we'll move on to AEW Dynamite from September 24th, 2025. Yeah, that's right. Your favorite and mine. They had 2,670 tickets sold out of 3,261. Looks like they had 591 left over at the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And if you're holding out hope to hear us talk about that they had Britt Baker on the episode, you can already forget about that, because they didn't have her. She hasn't been back since November of last year. This might be, we're probably never going to see her again until her contract's up. She pops up somewhere else, I guess. I don't know.
You know what they did have?
What's that?
636,000 viewers. And they were actually like 670 some last week, so it was back down a little bit. So, I'm sure they'll be back right closer to 600, and that's kind of their average, I feel like.
Yep. I did see that they managed to go up a little bit during parts of the episode, so that's good. It went down, but it did go up too.
Yeah, they held steady. They had an unusual segment line.
Well, good job,
Yeah,
AEW. You made people not change the channel as much this week. That's fantastic.
yeah, it is.
Well,
Take us
speaking of
to it.
things that make people change the channel, I'm surprised that this didn't. We had the AEW Tag Team Championship, Brodido defeating the Gates of Agony. And man, I feel like every time I have to watch these teams in the ring, that I have to pass through some kind of metaphorical Gates of Agony because it's just, these guys are not for me.
Well, they might be for me if they could give me a reason to care. It's for my entire life growing up, and this is even true in Japan, despite what people might tell you. Um, they build the people that you had to talk people into the building, especially way back in the day before a lot of televised, like weekly televised wrestling. You talk people into the building. That was the thing, and it was always a thing while we were growing up. I won't go on this too long, but the promos are a big deal. The character development's a big deal. The connection with the fans is a big deal, and you can only get so much of that if you're never actually in the ring talking to people or like having these all-time classic feuds where I mean, come on, like let's be real. When you remember like more big promos to some extent than big matches like throughout the years. Um, it's just not to say that the matches aren't important, but they're 50% of the package. You have to be able to talk and you have to be able to give me a reason to care. And if you don't, after 5 years of watching you have the same match over and over again, it's like I want to see something new. I don't mind watching them. You're missing half the package.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself. And I think that we kind of say the give us a reason to care a lot when it comes to a lot of these matches. And speaking of having no reason to care, we have the AEW World Championship Open Challenge because nothing says World Champion like just having open challenges with random people on the roster. Hangman Adam Page defeated the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty. I don't know why they're having this match other than that Tony was just like, well, I guess this guy. I don't know.
So like this goes to what I was saying before. You don't have to have your world champion on TV all the time, every week having matches. You would get more out of him, maybe having him on commentary, watching the guy he's feuding with, or having him in the ring, talking shit, building interest, building hype. Not, I don't know, which it's tough for Hangman to do. I feel like he is better than he used to be, but man, it's I don't know how long this match was. I think it was like 19 minutes or something like that. But having your world champion have these competitive matches with guys isn't helping your show.
No, not at all. You made one champion look like a goof. That's like obviously Lee Moriarty is not a super high main event guy, but I mean he's got one of your belts, and you're just carting him on out there to lose. And obviously, he's gonna lose to your world champion, but why even make that match? If you want to have him out there just to beat somebody, have him beat somebody that doesn't have one of your company's belts. I guess. Anyway, we got the conglomeration of Mark Briscoe, Hologram, and Orange Cassidy. And as much as I like Mark Briscoe, he couldn't save this, defeating the Dodd Callis family with Okada, Takashita, and Hechichero. And no, I didn't sneeze there.
Not really much to say about this. It was just a match, and then they had the whole thing afterwards with Hologram and Kyle Fletcher, and they're challenging him. I think next Wednesday for the longest streak in AEW history. The Hologram has. I think it's 34 matches, and she's like, "But this goof." I don't know. At least they're trying to build some intrigue to that match. But Kyle Fletcher should beat that guy, and I don't know. I like Mark Briscoe, but no Hologram. Orange Cassidy coming back, school, I guess. The way they had the Don Callis thing with them bringing the painting out, I enjoyed that because he's done a lot of that before in the past. But Okada, he's whatever. Takeshita's the man, and that Hitachero guy is just another guy having matches under a mask on the show that hasn't built any connection with the fans. So, why would I care?
I could take or leave that guy. I don't really care.
Well, you can leave him.
Yep. Well, speaking of things we could take or leave, we got Claudio Castagnoli defeating Powerhouse Hobbs. This match wasn't bad, but it was just
Powerhouse Hobbs is in the same exact position that he's been in for 5 years.
Which is weird. you keep waiting for him to take that next step, and it hasn't happened. And I don't know if the reason that hasn't happened is due to booking or
They've
due
tried.
to him, but
It's start and stop. They don't know how to they don't know how to use big guys there. Just historically, they just haven't done it.
Well, speaking of things that they haven't done yet, they had Chris Statlander defeat the Ring of Honor TV interim TV Women's Champion Mina Shirakawa. So this is just another example of having somebody, beat your person that has a belt.
It's an intern.
But yeah, I'm not sure what the deal with that is there. I don't follow Ring of Honor, but
He's done
good
it in
for
AEW.
Mina that she has a belt.
He's done it in AEW a couple times with the interim world titles.
Weird.
Where somebody's had to sit out, so then they do an interim, but it's goofy. But I like Chris Statlander, but there's just
I like both of these girls.
But I wasn't really feeling this too much. I'd say I didn't hate it, but I guess this just led to the after birth here where she said no to the Death Riders, so I guess that's okay. But in the end, not much to really care about. I don't really like seeing the Death Riders, and we've been kind of calling for them to go away, and it just won't happen. And they're a part of everything on the show, as along with Jet Speed.
Yeah. It's like the anti-NWO. Like when the NWO was involved in everything on the show, you were like, yeah, cool. And when these guys are involved in the show, you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's accurate.
But speaking of oh, man, we're going to move on to Highpoint, Lowpoint. And my high point was the Statlander not joining the Death Riders, even though it sadly means that she's involved in a storyline with them.
Yeah. So I guess maybe they're going to have I forget her name, the chick in the Death Riders feud with her or something for the belt, and I don't know. We'll see where that goes.
Nowhere. Interesting, I'll assure you.
My high point was the MJF tape segment because I just gonna stick by me picking MJF if he's on the show.
Right, that's hard to not. Well, my low point was the Brodido versus Gates because I don't really care about these guys. Like we talked about, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here.
Yeah, mine was Adam Page versus Lee Moriarty for the reasons I listed above. Just everybody here ends up leaving looking like a loser, and I know a lot of people are going to have a hard time realizing that, but if you look at the long-term ability to build stars based off matches like this, it's almost like a 0 for like 100 or 0 for 200. It doesn't work.
It's just it's not great. But speaking of not great, we're going to move on to the rankings. And my not great ranking was a 2. This show absolutely blew this week. I would say that Raw wasn't even very much better if it wasn't for the main event and the Cody Seth promo.
Yeah, at least you got a couple things you like there, but this show's a disaster, man. They've lost their identity, Any kind of like hype that they had coming off the Adam Page win has completely vanished. And like them trying to take advantage of WWE pissing people off with the Saudi deal is completely non-existent. They could literally like be building their brand, and that, it's not happening, And it's because they just keep doing the same mistakes over and over again. We're not bookers. I'm sure Tony Khan knows more about business than we ever will. But when it comes to like producing, now the pay-per-views are a different story, but when it comes to producing weekly wrestling television, he has a lot of people out there that he could be learning from. And it seems like he either isn't willing to, or they don't want to help him. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean something.
Yeah, well, let's get away from this AEW talk. Actually, we're going to talk more about AEW when we get into it. But let's move on to this news type stuff, man. I know we got a little bit of that, right?
We do. And speaking of...
Oh, man. We got a double dose.
Oh, wow.
And I got news for you.
Oh, man. We got some news, huh?
We do. And...
Nice night for a walk.
It is.
Oh, it is? Wow. But, yeah, so I'm going to jump us into this here. And, everybody that has watched AEW knows a little bit about Brawl Out and what that might mean, right? Well,
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it here. And this is going to be Brawl Out. Where are they now? We're in September 2025, just for a reference when people want to watch us back in the future. So, Dave, can you believe that it's been over 3 years since the infamous Brawl Out? Still one of the wildest moments in AEW history. I thought it'd be fun to do a little Where Are They Now? Check in with all the main players that were involved.
Yeah, man. And the thing that really reshaped AEW and honestly parts of the whole industry. So let's run it down.
All right, so first up, we got CM Punk. After all the drama, the suspensions, the firing, somehow the guy landed back in WWE, and he's right in the middle of the biggest storylines that they have. And he's not just back; he's like a featured in like the biggest things every week.
And that's Punk, right? No matter what locker room he's in, he's going to end up in the spotlight. WWE is milking this for all it's worth.
So next up, we have Ace Steel, the guy people remember mostly for biting Kenny Omega. That's right. So he's a producer in TNA Wrestling now. It kind of slid under the radar a little bit, but he's still around, contributing to the business, making some money.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the best spot for him, behind the scenes, away from the drama, just doing the job.
So Kenny Omega's next. He made that comeback in December 2024 after that diverticulitis scare. But let's be real, he's not on the show much these days. He's definitely working a limited schedule.
Which makes sense. Dude's earned it. And after everything, I think AEW is just happy to whenever they can get him healthy enough to appear.
Yeah, I like seeing him. And finally, the Young Bucks. They're still regulars on AEW television, but not in the same position that they used to be in. They're there, but they're not really like driving the show anymore like they used to be those first couple years.
Yeah. And their days of being the center of the company are kind of behind them. Still important, still big names in the community, but not pillars like they once were.
So there it is, right? We got Punk thriving in WWE, Ace Steel in TNA, Omega's on a limited schedule in AEW, and the Bucks are still hanging around in AEW, but they're not running the place. 3 years later, the fallout from Brawl Out, it's still shaping careers. And the crazy thing is, Brawl Out just didn't change these guys' careers, it changed both companies.
Yeah. AEW took a huge hit. They lost their world champion. Locker room morale was a mess, and suddenly the whole happy family alternative to WWE image got ripped apart.
Exactly. They had to vacate the belts, reshuffle main events, and the fan perception of AEW leadership got real shaky, right? It exposed a lot of cracks that people still point to today.
Yeah, and the flip side, WWE ended up benefiting long term. Punk leaving AEW gave them a gift, and by the time he came back to WWE, he was hotter than ever just because of all the drama.
Right? And when you think about it, that's one of the biggest ripple effects. AEW basically gave WWE back one of their top stars, and now Punk's helping drive their biggest storylines.
Meanwhile, AEW has never fully recovered that aura that they had in 2021 and 2022. We've talked about that a lot. You can argue that they're still searching for stability, and Brawl Out was just the start of their downward slide.
Yeah, it marked the end of AEW's honeymoon period, and after that, fans started looking up differently. Less as like the fresh, perfect alternative, and more of like just another copy with politics and drama, which is always bound to happen,
Yeah. So when you look back, Brawl Out wasn't just a fight; it was a turning point for WWE gained, AEW stumbled, and we're still feeling the effects 3 years later.
Yeah, you definitely are. I mean, when you think about it, the last time that AEW got over 800,000 in the ratings is when they showed footage of CM Punk and his fight with Jack Perry in the back.
Yep.
And what was that, like a year and a half ago?
Yeah. And that was after he had been gone for quite a while, like a year or something. He'd been gone for a while at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, I wish nothing for the best involved for anybody. Everybody's doing great. Everybody's making their money. The Young Bucks are making a killing. Kenny's not working a lot, and he's making a lot of money. Punk's making an astronomical amount of money, I bet. But it's just, I just thought it'd be interesting to bring this up because we didn't talk about Larry either. Larry was involved, and I think that maybe he got like a little bit of damage from it, but they ended up taking him to the vet. Everything was okay, and you still see Larry regularly on CM Punk's Instagram and all that. And sometimes they bring him to the ring before the event. It's kind of funny. But and then AJ Lee's back with Punk over in WWE, and that never would have happened. Yeah, if all of this didn't occur, then that would have never happened. And it's funny that like we said, the effects and the ripple effect that continues to happen to this day from Brawl Out. But got anything to add? Or?
No, I think we covered that topic fairly well.
Okay. Well, we got another topic here then. If you want to talk about that, I'll start us off. And it's Liv Morgan was teasing a WWE return. She did an Instagram post. So, what's next for her? Did you see that she might be teasing a comeback, if that's what that was?
Yeah, I did. She drops one Instagram post and suddenly everybody's an internet detective.
Yeah, well, it feels like it's about that time. She's been out with that shoulder dislocation.
Yeah, and those usually run like 6 weeks, 3 months. They can run longer. And knowing Liv, she probably has been working her ass off to get back as soon as possible.
Yeah, and here's the thing. She's always in the mix at the top. WWE never lets her fade out. She's always in the important programs.
Exactly. And before she got hurt, she was tag team champion. And she was even... they were even setting up that Evolution main event with the Bella twins that they were going to probably have. And that tells you how highly they value her.
Oh, all right. That's funny. See, I thought it was Trish that they were going to end up having her do it with. It was Nikki.
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah.
Okay. That's right.
They were gonna have them tag team against the Bellas.
Well, was Tiffany Stratton? I think Tiffany Stratton ended up going against Trish, so that's what ended up changing there. Okay, I'm sorry, the little detour there, but
cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways they could go here, right? At one point, it even looked like they were teasing that Dom and Roxanne Perez angle, but that seems to have cooled off.
Yeah, true. And if you ask me, I could see them keeping her strong, maybe even lining her up to win the Rumble. That's just a guess, but it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out either. So you buy into the tease. When do you think she's actually coming back?
It's hard to say. My gut says sooner rather than later, but either way, I'm looking forward to it. WWE usually nails it with Liv.
Yeah, she's been out since June 2025 with that shoulder injury we were talking about. And then she actually vacated. Well, I don't think she vacated it. She just kind of like moved it to Roxanne Perez. So it was Roxanne and Raquel that ended up getting it. So the Judgment Day still kept them. It's kind of weird, like a free bird type thing.
Yeah.
And like we said, she was going to end up having that Evolution spot against Nikki, which never happened. But she should be coming back anytime soon. And I imagine that when they go over to Saudi Arabia, though, some of those guys probably like to hang out with her, so they'll pay some big money for whatever events they might be having. And I know that the guys in the back have to be high on her because she is always in like the most prominent position, like multiple programs at once.
That's true. I kind of felt like with her injury, that maybe we weren't going to see her back till the Rumble, but maybe we're going to see her back sooner.
We'll see. I mean, who knows? This isn't a definitive thing, but usually when there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Yeah, at least a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, I think we got a little bit more smoke and fire here, and that's Santino Marella, and he believes that TNA can claim wrestling's #2 spot with the TV deal. So,
oh boy,
yeah, Santino Marella says that TNA can be the #2 wrestling company. #2. I mean, they're aiming high, right?
Yeah, nothing screams top contender and like wrestling in front of 600 people at the rec center. Move over, AEW. TNA's coming on through.
So I'll give them this. TNA's way better than it was. That name change back to the original name helped, right? What was it? What did they end up changing it to? The
Impact Wrestling.
Okay, that's what I thought. Which I don't think's a bad name either.
The people at Spike kind of they wanted them to change from TNA. It was a branding and advertising thing.
Well, their roster's actually pretty solid right now, but there's no way that they're going to be sniffing AEW spot unless Tony Khan somehow blows through all his family's money on like some kind of Jacksonville Jaguars rebuild and hires all the best people in the NFL.
Yeah. I kind of lost my place here. Or unless TNA finds a time machine and brings back 2005 AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Kurt Angle in their prime, then we're talking.
That'd be nuts. But right now it feels like Santino's saying, yeah, we're #3, but if AEW trips over its shoelaces, we'll gladly take their spot. Like, that's their whole strategy. They're just waiting for Tony Khan to blow it.
Yeah, which honestly might work because AEW does trip over its own shoelaces a lot, and we just talked about that. They've got good shoes, but man, they don't tie them right.
Exactly. And WWE, forget about it. They're on a completely different planet. That's like saying the CFL might pass the NFL if they get the right TV deal. Like, sure, bud.
Yeah. Hey, don't knock the CFL though. They've got 3 downs, giant fields, and quarterbacks you've never heard of. Kind of like TNA.
Fair enough, I guess. But hey, if Santino believes it, good for him. Dream big. Wrestling needs companies trying to climb, not just survive.
Yeah, and I'll believe it when I see TNA action figures in Walmart again. The real number 2 test right there.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but I don't know if they actually do get a TV deal. They could at least get some more exposure. I mean, could you imagine if they were even doing like 100K a week? For the that will instantly make them the number 3 promotion, which I think maybe I think those Mexican promotions can easily say that they are, just based on getting like 13K attendance, multiple times a week, like CMLL.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah, but I'm rooting for him, man. TNA does have a lot of really talented people working for them, especially behind the scenes, like their producers and all the agents and stuff. I know you've watched TNA a lot more than I do. If you could give this a percentage chance of happening, of them taking over for the number 2 spot, what percentage would you give it?
Yeah, pretty low, be honest with you. I couldn't give it an actual number, but I mean, we'll just say that it's more likely not happening than happening.
I think that's a fair statement. I don't see this happening, but who knows? I'd love to see it happen, just so there's more competition. But we're going to talk about something else, I think. And the next something else is going to be another segment we got here, and that's AJ Styles announcing his retirement timeline. So AJ Styles just dropped a bombshell. He says that he'll be retiring within the next year. Like, that's not speculation. That was literally straight from his mouth. The Phenomenal One basically put a clock on the rest of his career.
Yeah, and what I respect is he's not going out there and saying, "Oh, I'll wrestle till I can't walk anymore." He flat out said, "I don't want to show my fans a version of AJ Styles that isn't AJ Styles." That's self-awareness a lot of guys just don't have.
Exactly. He's been doing this for what, like 25 years? From TNA, Japan, to WWE. The guy's done it all. And he's still moving around better than people half his age. But you can tell that he knows when the clock's winding down.
Yeah, he's even mentioned Japan specifically, saying that this upcoming WWE tour might be his last time wrestling there. That's kind of poetic considering how much his reputation was built in Japan with New Japan and those classics with Nakamura.
Yeah, and he did hint at WrestleMania. He said that he'll probably be at the next one. So if that's true, we might get one more big AJ Styles Mania moment before he hangs it up.
And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he transitions into training or producing. He's got a good mind for too good of a mind for wrestling to not just pass it down. Imagine the next generation getting coached by AJ Styles.
What a career though, man. You think about it, most guys are lucky to be the face of one company. He was a heart at TNA, he was a major star in Japan, and then he comes to WWE and instantly becomes a top guy. That doesn't happen often.
Not at all. And right, it's not just a run. It's like 3 Hall of Fame careers rolled into one. TNA Hall of Fame, New Japan Legacy, WWE success. All three boxes checked there.
So I guess the question is, do you think AJ Styles goes out with a big send-off at Mania? Or do you see him kind of doing like a quieter farewell, like finishing up his dates and just riding off?
I'm not sure. Maybe they get him to sign like a short extension that just gets him to go through the whole year, and they run like a whole year of AJ Styles.
We'll see. I just don't know. Like, they're going to have a lot of guys that are going to be retiring. Like, I think Chris Jericho is going to want to retire there. And that's all I can think of. But I know there's more. But are they going to do a year for every single one of these guys? Like, every year you got a retirement tour for one of these guys, and they're just going to milk it?
I mean, you get a guaranteed built-in year. So, I mean, that's not necessarily the worst thing. It just depends on who the guy is. If it's something that you can do that with or not. I mean, AJ is really great, and the Undertaker has likened him to Shawn Michaels. He said it's like being in the ring with Shawn Michaels. I don't really think that you can get a much higher compliment than that, and Undertaker would know.
I think we said it before. AJ Styles is still probably like maybe the best guy on the roster, or one of the best. He's I think in ring wise, he might be better than everybody else there. He's just slowed down because he's hurting. and he can cut one hell of a promo. I would love to see him and Cody work together once for like a program for the world title before he ends up, calling it a day. But we'll see. The guy has had over 30 championships, across all those companies that we mentioned. He's been a 2-time WWE champ, 3 times United States champ, 1-time Intercontinental. He's done pretty much everything. And then that's before we talk about all the TNA championships. He's a 5 times world championship there. He was a 2-time IWGP heavyweight champion. They don't give that to the white guys a lot there very much.
Nope. He even wrestled in WCW during their last year. I know that's not something. Obviously you know that, but a lot of the fans out there might not know that.
That's experience.
Has literally been everywhere.
Yeah, and I'll be sad to see him go, but I'll be happy to know that he put in one hell of a career, and as long as he's happy and signing, I just hope they have a really cool retirement for him, and it'll be perfect. I feel like with the Cena when they dropped the ball a little bit, how are we not getting a moment with Cena where it's like Shawn and Flair? That would be amazing, man, and it's just not happening.
You would have to have people that you care about as much as Shawn and Flair, and John Cena is great for what he does, but I don't know.
You can still try though. They're not even trying.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You can't tell me that. I don't know who they could have it do, but they could. I don't know. You're right. It would be tough, but they're not building this big match. Maybe they will when it gets closer, but it's still going to be shotgun together. But let's shotgun here to the next conversation here. What do you think?
Well, that's pretty much. I think we covered it pretty well there. I think that hopefully, like you said, they do them right.
Yeah. Well, I think that they will. I'm gonna hold out hope. But that being said, so everybody's sitting here thinking that Edge is going to WWE, right? Well, that got shut down pretty quick, and here's the reason why, that he's been written off AEW television. So, everybody's literally acting like the guy's packing his bags and moving over to WWE after one backstage promo. At least, that's what the internet detectives would have you believe, right?
Oh yeah, and I saw the article, 3 clear signs, like the Zapruder film or something. Spoiler alert, none of them were signs. They were just guesses with a fancy headline.
Yeah, that was, I think, SES. No, that was Sportskeeda, the one that started all that.
Where did they even come from? I feel like they popped up a couple of years ago, and it was something that you would click their ad, you'd be scrolling through Facebook or something, and you'd be getting a suggested post from these guys about wrestling because you like wrestling, and then you'd click it, and you would get a million pop-ups, and it felt like it was a garbage fake website. And now all of a sudden,
they're trusted.
Apparently, they're a trusted, reputable source.
I think
is my memory off here?
You're right, and I think one of the things that contributed to this is Tony letting almost anybody that would show up to their post show pay-per-view media scrums. And when some of these guys can get on that, then it could build prominence for them. It doesn't take much, you you're just asking for a media pass, and especially if you do it early on, there wasn't a lot of, let me in here. But anyways, the guy sneezes backstage, right? That being Edge, Cope, and then he's returning for the Royal Rumble, and he's going to be going against Cena, right?
Yeah. Well, eWrestling News already said why he was written off AEW TV, and had nothing to do with sneaking out the back door to Stanford.
Oh yeah, nothing. PW Insider nailed it down even more. Now those are guys that we've heard of. They've been around a while. He's not plotting a WWE comeback. He's literally on a Disney set, and he's filming the new season of Percy Jackson playing Ares, the God of War, or Ares. Well, I don't know, whatever it is.
Ares.
Okay.
I only know that because I used to watch Hercules: The Legendary Journey back in the 90s. Man, that show ruled. But anyway, that's honestly perfect. The guy already knows, or he already looks like he was born to yell at mortals. Now Disney's going to pay him to do it.
He's definitely fit enough for it.
Yeah.
And Deadline said that production started last month. That's a movie company, website. So while the internet's fantasy booking him back into WrestleMania, the man's out there holding the sword on set, probably yelling at some poor extra. I'd like to think he's not doing that.
Well, no, like he's acting, like he's not
Oh.
actually yelling at him.
Okay.
I think.
I hope not.
Hopefully. Yeah, don't yell at people. Well, he's not. He's
No,
a
he's
nice guy.
not.
He's
Yeah.
Canadian. Which anyway, it's more believable than Edge shocks the world back in WWE. Like, come on, he's under AEW contract. He's got a Hollywood gig, and when he's done, he'll be right back on AEW TV.
Exactly. AEW didn't bring him in for a couple of cameos. This is just a hiatus. The real question it isn't like, is he going back to WWE? It's who's he going to wreck when he comes back to AEW? Well, I think we know.
It says Christian's always an option, but he's not gonna. They're teamed up. But imagine him mixing it up with like Ospreay and Kenny, or
That'd be
even
cool.
some of the younger guys that AEW wants to push. That's where there could be some money, maybe.
Yeah, so bottom line, Edge isn't going anywhere except to the Disney parking lot, and then he'll be right back to AEW. So sorry, Rumor Mill, but there's no WrestleMania Miracle here, and there's no John Cena retirement tour against Edge and WWE. You know, it's easy to kind of jump with these and run with these articles, but, you know, we didn't even comment on this stuff. You know, like, we'll do that sometimes. We'll jump on something if we think it's credible. There was not a second that I thought that Adam Copeland was going back to WWE.
No.
He's under contract.
Yeah, I mean, I think until like 2027 or something like that. So I mean, this is just like goofy, speculative. You know, like the wrestling news rumor mill likes to do. As soon as something happens, people, because they've watched wrestling for a long time, make like a educated guess. Hypothesis, like a scientist.
Well,
Wrestling news scientist, if you will. Except for they studied at community college.
Let me hit you with some real wrestling science here. Who leaves a company when they were just in a program with a heel tag team and they are the faces, and then one of their wives comes out and then gets physical and then also gets laid out in the ring? You think they're leaving like, oh yeah, they took Beth out, we're out of here, we're not going to have any retribution here?
We're writing him out of the company with this, and it's like you debut the wife to leave him. No.
Yeah, I really don't think that that's the way it goes, but
He goes, Rick.
oh yeah, well, I think the way that she goes is we're gonna wrap up this episode here. What do you think?
Oh boy.
How much more betrayal can I take?
Not much. I don't think any.
I don't want to hear that word here again.
Oh no, I ended up saying it. No, I said at the beginning of the episode I wasn't going to say the word again, but I think we're going to be talking about SmackDown and Collision the next episode, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it should be a lot of fun, and we're going to do a shout out to our social medias before we get out of here, and that's at OverMark ENT. You know, check us out. You got a question about anything stupid when it comes to wrestling, we'll answer it. There is a such thing as a stupid question, but we'll still answer them. We ask plenty of stupid questions ourselves almost every day. But here comes the part where I say I appreciate the Overmaniacs for listening. I appreciate Dave for always being the guy that does this with me. We do like I've always said, the podcast just doesn't happen. We got to put in some work to make it happen. And Dave's the guy, and I guess I'm the guy, and we're the Overmark crew here. But
teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep. But that being said, we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to sign out of here. Dave's going to say bye to you, and then we're going to hit that music.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the awesome show, TJ. It's fun as always. We'll see you guys next episode. Everybody have a nice weekend.
Take it easy, guys. We're out of here.
Deuces.
Just to survive. Our muscles are fake. Our takes are loud. We boot a toddler for chanting too proud. So tune in next week, or don't, we'll still shout. Two grown-ass men with nothing figured out.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.